Welcome back to the New York Sports Exchange, episode number 112. Is Daniel Jones the guy?
Was he ever the guy? Really? Are we asking? We should ask those questions.
I hate sports. I hate
Don't
everything.
we all?
It's just, don't we all?
It's never-ending suffering.
Jets lose to the Chiefs. Giants lose in embarrassing fashion to the Seattle Seahawks on Monday night. We'll give our recaps of that. Baseball playoffs are already underway as we are recording right now. The Rangers are up 4-0 against the Rays in the bottom of the seventh. The Twins are up 2-0 in the top of the second against the Blue Jays. We will give our predictions for the
zone out for a second. I was just zoned out for a second. I was like dead staring. Yeah, I know. I was zoned out. My fault.
That's what caught me so off guard. We will give a preview or our predictions, for the playoffs as well, who we like for the World Series MVP, all that great stuff. NBA, Drew Holiday finally gets traded to a contender, goes to the Boston Celtics. A lot of key pieces for the Celtics go to Portland. Portland's got themselves a squad. They could be very they could be a sneaky, very interesting team.
I don't want to say sneaky just because it's still the Portland Trailblazers, but they could be very interesting with what they got back.
And it's a 10-team playoff. But nonetheless, so let's just dive into playoff.
Yes. Interesting.
Let's just dive into the postseason right away. We'll go series by series. Let's start off with this, probably the most interesting one out of the four wildcard series. Twins and the Blue Jays. Twins are already up 2-0 on the Blue Jays. Tim, what do you like? I have your brat. So just tell everyone who you have in this series, and then give your reasoning, and then we'll build off of that.
I took the Blue Jays. I know they're a lower seed, but they still had a ton of wins, and I'm just going strictly off firepower and what they had. This is the MLB playoffs. This is where if the stars show up, the stars show up, and they have a lot of guys that can really show out and show out. I like Vlad. I like Bo Bichette. I like George Springer. I like the team they have. I love their lineup. I just don't see. I mean, it's the Twins. Come on, they constantly blow it in the wild card. There's nothing for me that's making me feel like they're going to come out on top here. So give me the Blue Jays over the Twins. I'm going to say in 3. I like 3. I like 3 games.
I went with the opposite. I went with the Twins. I really like the Twins pitching. I really love Pablo Lopez. I really like Sonny Gray this year. Chris Paddock has had a revival in the second half of the season. I know the offense doesn't really have as much names. They have Correa, but Royce Lewis has been very quiet. He's been a force. Literally just hit a 2-run home run in the first inning. They've played great defense. Michael A. Taylor is a great center fielder. They have great young players that there's a reason why they won the division. I know the division was bad, but I definitely think that the Twins can definitely sneak out of this one. I do not have them sweeping. I have them winning in 3. It's just that the pitching for Toronto doesn't really move me as much. I know Kevin Gausman's a really good pitcher. What's his name? He used to be in the Jose Berrios has had his ups, has had his downs.
Very up and down for him in Toronto.
Chris Bassett has also done pretty well, but I think the Twins do a better job. Plus that bullpen for the Twins too. Yohan Duran is just one of, if not the best closer in baseball right now. Give me the Twins in 3. In front of the home crowd too. I feel like people don't. Most of the time, the Twins have. I know they've lost 18 straight playoff games, which is like embarrassing.
I don't think the record. Yeah, it's
embarrassing. Ridiculous. But think of most of those games they did not have home field advantage. I think the only time where they had home field advantage was in 2020 when there wasn't even a crowd. So I think the Twins I think Target Field's going to be rocking this series. Give me the Twins. All right, next up. We got this one's a shocker. We're at the end of 7 here. Jordan Montgomery has thrown 7 scoreless. Rangers up 4-0. Tim, who do you have? Oh yeah. I was shocked by this one.
There's a reason I have them going to the World Series. Listen, I know, again, they've dealt with some injuries. I know DeGrom's, I don't know if he's coming back. I know he went down. Scherzer goes out. I know they've taken hits in pitching, but again, it's firepower in the playoffs, and they have a lineup full of studs. They got Marcus Semien. They got Corey Seager, Josh Young. I mean, this team can hit. They can put runs on the board, and I think they're going to continue to do that. I don't know. Maybe because I was watching some of that Texas 2011, 2013, the
Nelson
early
Cruz, Josh
yeah,
Hamilton.
some of those highlights. Maybe that was getting me fired up for this, but I think they take this over the Rays in two. I think they take care of business against the Rays.
Wow, you're calling a sweep here.
Listen, the Rays have had their struggles all year long. They started off really hot. They were dealing with some pitching injuries. I'm high on Texas, and I think they get it done in two. And they're showing out right now, so I'm back. They're backing me up.
I took the Rays solely. I took the Rays because of the injuries to the pitching staff for Texas. Nate Eovaldi's coming off the IL. They lose Max Scherzer for the season. I know they have a very high-powered offense, but there's just something about the Rays that always comes in the back of my mind where I'm just.
I mean, it's because you got to deal with. They beat you in what,
in
19?
It's
it
true.
sucks.
2020 they beat us, and then but then they were a dominant one seed the next year. They just still find ways to make the playoffs and win these series out of nowhere. But after watching what happened, they've had 4 errors in 7 innings. That's bad. On your home field too? That's bad. That's really bad.
I know they have a ton of playoff performers, and I see where you're going with this pick, but Texas reminds me last year. They just have some of that Philly magic. Something about this team.
Okay.
They might not have dominant pitching. They might not have great fielding, but they can hit the fuck out of the ball, and I really think that's what they're going to continue to do. So let's keep it up, Texas. Let's keep it up. I want this bracket to be perfect.
All right. We move on to the National League. Move on. Yeah. Let's go with the Diamondbacks and the Brewers here. This one's definitely interesting solely because I don't really know who to take in this one because Diamondbacks, they have Gallen. He's not starting game 1. They have this, I don't want to call it high-powered offense, but they just find ways to win games. They made the moves at the deadline. They go get Tommy Pham. They get Paul Sewald. The Brewers, on the other hand, they look good. And this pitching, I know they lose Brandon Woodruff for the wild card series, but do they get him back? That's the thing with the Brewers. I feel like they always make it, but then something happens. Something like an injury happens. Remember that thing with Devin Williams? Was that last year, a couple years ago? But
they still got some guys in that rotation. Corbin Burns. They still got
Freddie Peralta.
I think, again, Arizona is a team that started off really hot. They were a high roller.
I just saw the lineup.
What is
Brewers. Guess who's starting at third base?
Donaldson?
Yep.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
Makes me want to not take back this pick, but again, Arizona started off very hot. They were one of those top teams straight off the bat. It was, them and Tampa Bay. They gradually cooled down. They dealt with a little bit of injury, but nothing too crazy. Corbin Carroll had a great year. I think this Arizona team is one of those teams that kind of, they snuck into the playoffs, Nashville Predator-esque, if you want to go back to. They just got in there. They just get in. The
so
last
taking
team
the Diamondbacks in game 1 is what I'm getting.
No, I'm not making that mistake twice. I think the Brewers actually win this in 2. I don't think they have too much of a problem with Arizona. I mean, again, I watched them play against the Mets. I saw a couple of their series. They don't have enough for me yet, and that's saying yet because they're young. They're going to get better. They're obviously going to develop, but right now is not their time. I'm going to take Milwaukee in 2.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Milwaukee too, but I think that it's going to go to 3 solely because of Zach Gallen. I think he's taking game 2, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, it would make sense because, if they go down 1-0, backs against the wall, if they go up 1-0, they have a chance to win the series. You got your best pitcher on the mound. But I just think the pitching for Milwaukee is just too much. You got Devin Williams in the bullpen, Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta have been absolutely phenomenal this year. I know they lose Brandon Woodruff, but there's a really good shot here. Wilson Contreras has been phenomenal. They got Mark Canha. Yelich
there's a reason they're the 3 seed. There's a reason they're the 3 seed.
Not because they were in a bad division, because the Cubs were slowly but surely making their case. But I got the Brewers in 3. I would not be shocked if they take it in 2. It just all depends on that Zach Gallen game. Next wild card series. Phillies and Marlins. This one's interesting. I think
Red
this.
October, baby. It's a Red October. Yeah, no. I understand the interesting aspect of what the
Yeah,
pitching
I
Miami
said
has
I said,
and
I said the most interesting one is Twins Blue Jays, and then proceeded to call the rest of the three very interesting.
they're all very interesting. I understand what you're saying. The pitching Miami has, they're I don't want to say they're like a younger lineup, but they have some hitters. This is a team that, let's be honest, no one at the beginning of the year expected to be in this spot. So I'm going to
Yeah,
give them props for that. But
they made the right moves at the deadline, though,
they did.
and
They
in the
did.
offseason too. Because when's the last time there was a win-win trade? They trade Pablo Lopez, who's now the ace of the Twins. They go get Luis Arraez, who's just put
Wins
on
the
one of the
batting
best
title.
hitting seasons that we've seen
Yeah.
in a while. At the deadline, they turn nothing into something with Josh Bell. Nobody wanted to take on that new contract that he got from Cleveland. Kim Ng took a risk and it delivered. Jake Berger has been phenomenal with I think he's got like a 95 weighted runs created plus. So props to the Marlins, but I just don't see a world.
Red October,
Yeah.
baby. This
Did you see
lineup's
that
getting.
hype? Did you see that hype video?
No, I didn't see it.
At the end, it was like Michael Lorenzen was like, he's like, if you're not, he basically said, if you're not hype, then get the fuck out of Philly. That's what he said.
That guy's a
I
nut
was like,
job.
I was locked in after that one. But yeah, I got the Phillies here. It's a red October. I know I'm very anti Philly, but
Everyone's
I just can't help
anti-Philly.
but take the Phillies. And I'm still
They're gonna
surprised at the
smoke them.
Marlins. Still with the Marlins though too. The fact that they made the playoffs with how terrible of a year Sandy Alcantara had,
That's what I'm saying. You got to take the wins
pretty
you
impressive.
can get. But I think Phillies in two. I don't think this is too much for them.
Yeah. Okay. So Tim, you have the Twins and the Astros. No, sorry, the Blue Jays and the Astros, and the Rangers and the Orioles in the ALDS. In the NLDS, you have the Brewers and the Dodgers, and the Phillies and the Braves. Let's go with let's start in the AL side. Astros Twins, Astros Blue Jays. I can't talk. Uh, Obviously, you have the Astros advancing here. What's it going to come down to?
I don't know. I mean, the Astros check every box for me over the Blue Jays. I want to say every position wise, but they match them equally in hitting, I would say. And their pitching staff is just much deeper. The rotation's much better. You have Verlander, you have Framer Valdez, you have guys that are efficient out of the pen. They're a playoff built team. We've seen them win constantly. This isn't anything new. I don't think the Blue Jays are too much of a problem for them, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, maybe they win one game. I don't think Houston has too much of a problem with them. It's really going to take a show out performance from Bo Bichette and their high hitters like Vlad Guerrero Jr., who really need to have
Her as well.
I mean, almost like a Daniel Murphy type playoff run. They're going to need a guy like that to step up, and we'll see what happens. Maybe a Rosarena type situation, occurs. Maybe someone goes off crazy. We'll see, but I don't know. Right now, it's Houston all the way for me, and I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah. For my side of the bracket, I have Houston advancing, obviously. Again, I know Minnesota's pitching is very good. I just think that this offense for Houston is just way too high powered. I know Altuve had a shortened year. Jeremy Pena didn't have that great of a year. Yordan Alvarez had a shortened year as well. But how can you not back the Astros? As much as I fucking hate them, how could you not back the Astros in a playoff situation? Because that's a horrible call in Minnesota. But anyway, yeah, I got the Astros going to the ALCS. We'll go to the bottom of the AL bracket. I have the Rays actually beating the Orioles and going to the ALCS solely because there was a point of the year, very late on in the year, where the Rays jumped the Orioles in the division and was leading by a half game, and then it all collapsed down. I know the Rays are almost getting whomped right now 4-0, but I really, again, it's the Rays. They always find themselves in a spot like this. I do
They're a
have
gritty
them go to
team.
the ALCS.
They find ways to win.
And I know they lost a lot of guys because of Wander Franco, but nonetheless, I have them going to the ALCS. I have them losing in the ALCS, though. I have the Astros going to the World Series. Tim will go to the National League now. Dodgers and
So
sorry,
I don't even have the Rays moving on.
Rangers
Orioles.
and Orioles. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't take the Rays to move on again. I'm really high in this Rangers team, and I'm taking them to beat the Orioles. I think this is a very, 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 very close series. It's going to come down to one game. I love the Orioles lineup. I understand the firepower they have. For me right now is they're just too young. And I know, you find young heroes all the time in MLB playoffs, especially more than any other sport. But for me right now, I don't see them this young of a team led by a 22-year-old, 23-year-old catcher. You have a 20-year-old shortstop. I just think they're too young. They don't have the pitching yet. They'll get it done in the next 2 or 3 years. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But I think Texas takes over, and this firepower lineup goes nuclear. I'm expecting a huge playoff from Josh Young. I think this is their key piece. Josh Young has a big playoffs. This team is World Series bound, and that's why I have him there.
All right. You definitely have the right reasoning. It's just that I can never trust the Rays. I can never trust the Rays to be sitting ducks in the first round. Let's go to the National League. Braves, Phillies in the NLDS. I believe both of our brackets. I mean, I think the Braves get revenge here.
Hey guys.
Listen, an interesting end to that episode. Yeah, it's a very interesting end to what happened yesterday.
Yesterday. It's now Wednesday. So, to recap, Rays beat the Rangers, Twins beat the Blue Jays, D-backs beat the Brewers, and the Phillies beat the Marlins. Let's just put it this way. We both have the Braves winning the World Series.
I mean, and and I'm just going to say this. If you don't have them winning the World Series, then you didn't watch them play this year. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Because from every single position, from pitching staff, from bullpen, they have every check on my checklist boxed off, and I think they're better than every single team in the MLB. And this is me saying this. You may not feel the same way, Stan, but this might be the greatest baseball team I've ever watched. It genuinely might be the greatest team I've ever watched. I know you're probably going to say the 2009 Yankees. Something like that.
Not the this is probably the greatest baseball team I've ever watched.
You just you look at it from a lineup perspective. You look at it from an output perspective. How many home runs hitters they have. They have like 10 guys with 10 home runs. They have 2 all-star catchers. I mean, this team loses Freddie Freeman not too long ago. They replace him with a guy, Matt Olson, who's better, not better, but almost the same. You would say it's not much worse. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
My mic unplugged, I think. Yeah, whatever. This thing's a piece of shit anyway. But nonetheless, what else could go wrong?
Listen, if you're gonna take any of our bets and any of our futures, anything that we put out there, my future bet for you is to right now put money in the Atlanta Braves to win the World Series. I don't see a world where they lose unless they collapse, and I don't see that happening. So I would put money on the Braves. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. All right, on to football. Actually, no, Buck Showalter, fired, resigned. What are we saying here? It seems like
it seems like David Stern kind of just, or David's, but he kind of just took over.
Oh yeah, no, David Stearns is now the president of baseball operations.
So from what I heard and from what I think the word swirling around is that they didn't even have a conversation with Buck before they decided to pull the plug on him. If you're a Mets fan, you knew this was coming. I'm not upset about it. I mean, the Buck show didn't work out like we wanted it to. Last year was a disappointment. This year was even worse. He's old, sometimes you just got to move on. The team needs a new face. They need a new spark in this locker room. I don't know what's wrong with them. They have all the intangibles to be a good team. They have the names. They had the pitching. It's time for a fresh face, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do next year. This offseason's huge. There's a lot of guys they can go out and get. That Japanese pitcher's first guy on the radar. I would love to see him brought in.
Yoshinobu.
Ooh, he and Kodai Sengai could be a force to be reckoned with in this division. Shohei's name's getting thrown around. I'm just excited for what they're going to do in this offseason. Baseball is, and you could call me out and say I'm wrong, but you don't really need. It's not like a head coaching job. Okay, this isn't gonna. Getting a new manager doesn't change everything. but it'll bring a fresh face, a fresh start, and I'm excited to see where the Mets go from here.
Yeah. One more thing though too. Does David Stearns snag Craig Counsell? Is that a possibility?
It is a possibility, and I'm not writing it off.
Okay.
But from like the way he operates, from what I've seen so far, is we're not. I don't know if we're gonna hear much until the move's done. Sort of like a Lou Lamoriello type situation where we're like, you're not. You know, I'm not. We didn't. Again, there was no Buck speculation before this. As Mets fans, we were all speculating, but there was no real like, hey, you know, building up to this point, like he's gonna get fired. Like Stern took over, and it was immediate. He's like, we're revamping this team. This year was a disappointment. You have the highest payroll. You don't even win. You're not even a 500 team. It's time to move on. It's time to move on.
Yeah, I agree. We just broke a ladder record. We're on to day 3, which is surprising. Day 1 was a shit show because even though it hit, it was Daniel Jones overthrowing attempts, and it was just a shit show. Twins money line hit on Tuesday. What are we thinking for Wednesday? Because I'm sort of on. I'm kind of sort of on. What are we thinking? Are we sticking with baseball? There's college football on tonight.
I think you got to go baseball. I mean, playoff start. You got to ride the baseball high.
Okay. So what are we thinking? Let's just cook it up like right now. While we're at it. I mean, we could go with the Twins again, unless it's like too inflated. Then I'll maybe.
Phillies
stay
at
away
minus
from it.
155.
Nah.
It's a red October. It's a red October.
Phillies.
All right, Phillies first 4 innings money line.
First 5.
First 5. What's that look like? Because I'm okay with that. I think they get out hot.
Let me check the FanDuel line, and then it could definitely work.
I don't want to touch this Arizona game. I know Zach Allen's pitching, but this is a Brewers team on the ropes. I don't know how this is going to play out.
160. Yeah, that's way too much juice.
I mean, why not?
We could do a prop.
Nah, Jays to win. I'm feeling the Blue Jays tonight. I have to move it on.
I'm not feeling the Blue Jays.
I don't
tonight.
think they.
No, I'm not feeling it.
So you want to look at Texas? I mean, the Texas Rays game. I don't want to look at that either.
I don't want to look. We could go with a prop, maybe. Like, we could go with like
Bo Bichette over 1.5 bases.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Let's do. Look at some stars. Let's go. Let's take someone that we think's gonna have a big day, and let's go over 1.5 bases. How about that? I'm okay with that.
Let's just hang on. Let me check if it's like on like. I would assume it's on like FanDuel or something like that. All I see is like pitching shit though. Like that. I know. I want like. Give me some hitters. Come on.
What's Aaron Nola's over on strikeouts?
I don't think it's a lot because he hasn't really had that right of a year. 5.5 at minus 150.
That's up to you.
Some runs, maybe. You know what we could do? You want to do a Nerfy?
Nerfy in the Brewers Diamondbacks game?
Yeah, let's see what that's at though. That might be a lot. Let's see. Okay, minus 136.
No runs first inning.
No runs first
inning. Diamondbacks Brewers. Lock it in. 7 p.m. tonight. Be glued to that TV. That's what we're taking. Boom.
Yep. Perfect. I'm locking in the bet right now.
Love it.
Perfect. All right, let's go to the NFL. Which disaster do we want to talk first? Jets or Giants? Which disaster?
Start with the Giants. Let's start on Monday night. Let's just backtrack.
Yeah, that was truly awful. I mean, that was like a must-win game gone totally wrong. And I'm still like shell shocked. Like this is like truly that was a season defining loss right there. Because, and I know that Andrew Thomas was out, I know that Saquon was out, but at the same time, like I kind of had to just stop and think to myself, and I don't think, and like I know I'm a big Daniel Jones guy, won a playoff game for us. I just don't think Daniel Jones is the guy.
I mean, it is really hard to like really feel confident for this Giants team after that game, because
especially with the schedule coming up too, like at Buffalo on primetime television again.
You got to think. Listen, your O-line's banged up, your number one offensive weapon's banged up. Daniel Jones looks a little nervous in the pocket. I mean, I rightfully so. He got sacked 11 times. Got sacked 11 times.
Yeah, that honestly, in all my, like, I know the Giants have had a shitty O-line for the last like 10 years. That is the worst offensive line performance I think I've ever seen from the Giants within the last 10 years. Like, this is just like, ugh.
And you can go back to crucial moments. I know the fumble, whatever. He's got fumble problems, whatever. The pick in the red zone, it was a bad read. Yeah, but the pick in the red zone. Listen, he had no time to get rid of that ball. He had no time to make a second read, no time to make another decision. He was solely locked in. He was getting killed.
Here's my thing with the interception. My thing with the interception was they were running no huddle, and I feel like that sort of fucked with Jones a little bit because it forced him to make quick decisions. I feel like when they weren't running the no huddle, he was running the offense well. He was able to make like the right read, the right decision. When they were going no huddle, his brain, I don't know, I guess his internal clock, his mind was all like fucked up, and it was leading him to do stupid shit. Now, that's no excuse. I feel like every quarterback should be able to to utilize the no huddle offense, but it just the talent on the field is not there. And I know that, last year you win a playoff game on the road. You kind of left Joe Shea with no choice to give him the money, because why would you get rid of a quarterback that won you a playoff game for the first time in years? And it's just how it is. I mean,
I understand
what this means for next year. I have no idea.
I understand the re-signing. I get it. We're in a new age where if you find a guy that works quarterback wise, you're going to take him. I mean, you look at the Brock Purdy's, look at even, the Kirk Cousins, the Ryan Tannehills. They're not superstar quarterbacks, but they get the job done. Last year, what I saw the Giants, they had a lot of creativity in their offense. There was a lot of, a little bit trick play schemes. There was a lot more chemistry. I'm just not seeing anything this year. Like last year, they always kept you on your toes. They were mixing things up. They had that run game. They had that effective run game that made you, bring pressure and bring some linebackers in, and they can move the football. Right now, I know I know Saquon's out. Matt Breida's Matt Breida, but they can't move the ball. They really can't move the ball.
They can't.
And this is a Seahawks defense who is good, but I wouldn't put them as, a top defense in the league. They go to Buffalo. Matt Milano is going to have like 2 picks.
It's going to be so bad. And it's like the one, like, it's funny though, because like, knowing the Giants, they go into Buffalo and win. Like, this is like, knowing the Giants, Dable knows the offense. It's like basically the same staff except for Dable. And oh my God, it's just going to be funny to watch.
But seriously, I mean, if you
like, I'm starting to like notice a trend though here. Tim, do you remember the first year of Ben McAdoo, where they go to the playoffs? I know they lost in the wild card game to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, but the next year they get Brandon Marshall. They have this loaded receiving core. They're like all hyped up about this receiving core. They have all these nationally televised games, and they were probably one of the worst Giant teams I think I've ever watched in my 20 years of life. And just watching them on national TV all the time, and they just kept on losing and losing and losing and losing and losing. It was awful. Like it was just being embarrassed on the national stage just is disgusting.
And to be honest with you, right now, there's nothing showing me that's going to change. If you go back to week 1, they get blown out. That Arizona, they lose week 2.
Yeah.
But that Arizona game, I mean, listen, They have no business winning that football game, okay? Arizona blows it in the second half. They don't. So realistically, we're looking at like an 0-4 team. They get a miracle win in Arizona, whatever, they're 1-3. I just know week by week, I've seen no progression. I've seen nothing that makes me, at least with the Jets, with Zach Wilson, I'm seeing this KC game, he's moving the ball better. He looks more comfortable in the pocket. They're adapting, they're moving the ball a lot better. The playbook, it feels a lot better fit towards his scheme. Every time I turn this Giants on, it's nothing. I mean, it's constant 3 and out, turnover. They do get a chance in the red zone. They're not successful. I don't know. It's got to be frustrating for you. It's frustrating for me, just as a sports fan, trying to watch a Giants game, and they look terrible. But right now they're in a deep hole, and there's not much for me. It looks like it's going to change. Stan?
Oh, God.
Well, I don't know where Stan is.
I'm ready to fucking lose my mind. Oh, God. Portland, man, your Wi-Fi is...
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Tim? Oh, God. Like, how can we, like, there's, I don't know how to fix this then. Like, yeah, I'm gonna call him. Like, this is a fucking disaster. Tim, can you hear me through the computer?
Nope.
This is a fucking, like, I don't know what to do. Like,
Try refreshing. Try refreshing your page.
Refreshing, then it's gonna.
I know. Then we'll just, it'll say where we're at. Well, I'm still in the studio, so it's going to record. But we'll just cut this part out.
Good?
Can you hear me?
Hear you through there, yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, turn your mic off. Turn your camera off.
All right.
Turn your camera off.
Yeah,
All right,
it's off.
this is better.
All right,
We're
here
good?
we go. Just fucking, yeah. All right, so back to the Giants,
We-
because this is just like...
Brutal that we have to deal with this, but this is what college Wi-Fi is like.
Yeah. Oh, God, like, we're trying to find ways to fix it. We're trying
We
all
will
these different
eventually.
things, and we'll find a solution, but right now it's like, it's really taking a toll on me, and I'm like ready to fucking punch a wall. But you know what? What's done is
Giants
what's
ain't
done is
helping.
done. Yeah, Giants ain't helping right now. Let's go to the Jets. Tim, pretty good game to ride on with the Jets here.
Yeah, you got to take some moral victories, right? And I know Jets don't come out on top against the Chiefs, but they keep this a close game. It's a one-score game. They lose by 3. There were some questionable calls towards the end. I don't want to dwell over those. I don't think that was a hold. I don't know if you think that. I don't think you think that was a hold by Sauce Gardner.
Okay.
What I do think was a hold is Jermaine Johnson getting picked up. What?
Yeah, no, that Sauce play was a hold. Jermaine Johnson. Wait, the Sauce play was holding. the Jermaine Johnson play was also holding. That should have been called.
Yeah, listen, I understand there was like a slight tap on the shoulder or whatever from Sauce Gardner. I get that. But the way the game is playing out, there's been plays like that all game. It's tough. You go down, just like 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left, and you decide to, call something like that. It's frustrating, not just for me as a fan, but it has to be for the Jets, and it clearly was. He was not happy on Monday if anyone saw his tweets. Saying
yes.
if I was a Swiftie, he wouldn't call it.
Does this mean I'm a Swiftie?
Yeah. But you got to take some moral victories. They shut down Travis Kelce. I mean, he really didn't have a day. They gave Patrick Mahomes problems. I mean, problem after problem. They were picking him off. They were getting in the backfield, and he didn't have a good day either. Zach Wilson played the best game. I think Zach Wilson played the best game I think I've seen him play his entire career, and it's been like that week in and week out. I mean, he's progressively getting better. This is a huge step forward. It's a huge sign. It's tough. The O-line played well. Joe Tippmann's been phenomenal. I mean, he's probably been one of the best O-linemen in the NFL. And for them to lose like that, yeah, it hurts. But it's the Chiefs. You take moral victory. You move on to next week in Denver. And you play a very weak Denver team who just barely snuck out a win last week. They barely sneak out a win last week. You're going a mile high against probably an aggravated Sean Payton after they lose 70-0 and then, deal with what they did last week.
Yes.
I think they take care of business there. They get back on the right track. If Zach Wilson plays like he did at MetLife, well, they'll have no problems with that defense. So I'm just going to take some positives from this. We're 1-3, yes, but this is not a 1-3 team. I think they can build off this and be a little bit better.
Yeah. I want to get to the Bengals because they had a horrible, horrible loss against Tennessee. And what does this mean now for Joe Burrow? Because this is bad.
Yeah, it is bad and make things worse. I mean, now T. Higgins got a broken rib, so you lose your second receiver. They just can't move the football. I don't really know what the O-line doesn't look great. He's dealing with injury. They're getting back to him, and Jamar Chase doesn't seem to be happy. I don't know. I don't know. This Bengals team, are they frauds? Yeah, very well could be. They very well could be frauds. The way this O-line's playing and the way their defense is.
I feel like if Joe Burrow was healthy, though, it would be a completely different story. I think it's all because of Joe Burrow in that calf injury. Because he can't really do much. He can't escape the pocket because he's got this lingering calf issue. And I know he's trying to tough it out, and I know the backup options for Cincinnati aren't great. It's not looking bright in Cincinnati right now. I don't even think that they make the playoffs.
No, I don't. And this is one of the tougher divisions in the NFL. I get the Steelers out of here because I don't, they stink. No. But they stink. But you're dealing with the Browns and a Ravens team that, both could very well be pushing for a playoff spot. And you get off to a slow start like this, it's going to be hard to jump back. The real thing for me is this O-line has to step up. If they don't give him more time because he can't move. If they don't give him enough time in the pocket to, at least get a second read, they're going to be, we could be looking at a team that top 10 pick, maybe. I know it's early, but
maybe.
Is it hard? I mean, after 3 points, is it really hard to say that?
Tim.
What?
That last part we did, it never saved.
About the Giants?
Yeah.
All right, then rant about the Giants. Let's talk about the Giants real quick again.
Yeah, okay. So if you're seeing this for the first go-around, I can't.
Dude, I'm fucking losing my shit with this, man. I'm like...
What happened?
No, I'm just like, I'm ready to explode. Like, this is like...
It's frustrating, for sure.
With this whole fucking Riverside... actually, wait, no. Or is it the same recording? I'm so lost. I don't know.
Well, listen, if it's the same recording, it's the same recording, but we'll just go briefly. The Giants stink. They haven't looked well.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good. We could just leave it at that.
It's not good. God. Sticking with football.
Let's talk about another team that I just mentioned and has been utterly disappointing. The Steelers.
Yeah, I think that's more of a Matt Canada issue rather than just a team issue. Just the play calling is just not good. I know Kenny Pickett gets hurt. He's probably not going to miss time with that knee injury. So maybe we'll see. But I think once Matt Canada is out of there, we'll take this team seriously. I will say though, the Texans might be legit here.
I think CJ Stroud looks like Justin Herbert rookie season kind of thing.
Stroud boys.
Yeah,
Stroud
and,
boys. Love it.
And I'm still gonna say that I think Bryce Young has a higher ceiling, but CJ Stroud looks like a damn good quarterback, and it seems like they got their guy for a long time. So I'm happy for Texans fans. I'm happy they got their guy. The D lines look well. The O lines played better than people have expected. So this may be a team we're talking about in 2 or 3 years that's fighting for a playoff spot. Right now, I don't think so, but it's up in Texas. Houston, they're up right now, so I'll give them props.
Yeah. They play Atlanta. I wouldn't mind taking Houston by the money line. That might be a best bet for tomorrow. Anyway. Anyway. Any other football? Let's talk about it. As much as I am an appreciator of Taylor Swift's music, enough is enough.
I'm losing it.
Yeah, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, it's cool that she's dating Travis Kelce and allegedly and doing all this stuff. I think it's cool. Increases viewership for the NFL, and gets a lot more viewers and listeners to like stuff like that, which is great. Great for everyone. Everyone wins. Do we got to show her after every touchdown?
Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco, and this is something that I'm not. Again, I don't like Taylor Swift, but this would get me aggravated. Anything. This is a New Jersey kid, right? He goes to Rutgers. His whole family's at this game. This is a guy, New Jersey through and through, and he scores a touchdown. Give him his moment. Don't flash the camera to Taylor Swift when a New Jersey homegrown kid, probably gets one of the biggest touchdowns of his life just in front of his whole family in the NFL. And at least let him celebrate. Don't pan off of him. I don't know. That pissed me off a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, that was annoying. Let's talk some fantasy football. We haven't talked fantasy football at all this year. Tim, how's your team doing?
I'm 2-2.
2-2? Okay. Oh, Aiden.
Yeah. Slaughtered that, man. I can't. I don't even. Tough bout for Aiden, but
the final this final standing projection is hilarious.
He went from one to last.
Yes, he went from one to last. I'd just like to thank Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams for saving my season.
Yeah, so shouts out to you.
Oh my god, I was almost in tears when Nick Chubb went down. I was like, wait a minute, I have Kyron Williams, and then I snagged Puka Nacua, who's just been incredible. And then I have Cooper Kupp coming back from IR this week. So
yeah.
I have Rams bye week, I'm fucked. But other than that, I'm great.
I'm dealing with 2 running backs on a bye this week, so hopefully Breece Hall and DeAndre Swift can carry me. I'm sure they will.
You got Jack this week. Oh.
I just want to say real quick to anyone really looking for a guy to get out in fantasy that is probably not too expensive, someone you could actually play at a wide receiver 2 or a flex position every week. Adam Thielen's floor is probably going to be capped at where it is right now. You're looking at a guy who's averaging at least 6 targets a game, 6 receptions. I mean, he's getting at least 8 targets, 9 targets. They like to move the ball to him. He's a reliable receiver. He plays over the middle a lot. This is a guy who's going to get the football. He's going to make plays. So if you really need a receiver and you're not willing to give up too much, this might be a guy to look for.
Yeah. Any other football stuff? We could talk some college. I mean, so this is probably going to go to air on, today. And then Thursday we'll have our bets slated. So let's talk the college football weekend. Colorado proves they prove us wrong, kind of, sort of. They get the cover against USC. They only lose by 7.
Prove us wrong's a stretch. I think USC just proved us right that their defense is atrocious.
Yeah, that defense scares me. When they go to Notre Dame in a couple weeks, or in not even a couple weeks, like 2 weeks,
Oregon might beat the wheels off them. Like Oregon actually might beat. So, big win for Oregon.
Yeah, big win for Notre Dame. Big cover, good bounce back win. Sucks that Riley Leonard for Duke got injured. Not a horrible ankle injury, but it'll likely keep him out. They're not going to lose him for the season. Next week, though, we got the Red River Shootout or rivalry, whatever the hell you want to call it, between Texas and Oklahoma. LSU plays Missouri. That's going to be a big one. Alabama, Texas. Alabama, Texas. Alabama, Texas A&M, always a big one. Notre Dame goes to Louisville on Saturday as well. And then 2 weeks from now, Tim, the big one, the granddaddy, not really the granddaddy of them all. Your Ducks are going to Washington. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a really big game. I'm nervous. This is the one team in the Pac-12 that kind of scares me. I mean, a little bit of Oregon State too. Oregon State just really knows how to play Oregon well, but Washington's a tough team, and
Yeah.
it could go either way. I mean, it's really how is Bo Nix going to show out? You know, is the offense going to play up to par? I think the defense will show up. Is Bucky Irvin going to have a good game? You know, receiving wise, is Troy Franklin going to produce? I don't know. I hope so. I hope they keep the tempo they've been playing with up. But this is a tough Washington team. Michael Penix Jr. I know he hasn't stats aren't great.
Dude, he's legit.
But that's what I was just about to say. I know stats aren't crazy. His QBR is third in the country, but his passing yards aren't crazy, but they're
ridiculous.
He's going to be a problem, and I'm really hoping they can shut him down. That's the only shot they really have against this number 7 Washington team. But it's going to be a good matchup. 8 versus 7. I'm obviously going to ride with Oregon, but it should be a good game.
It's going to be a fun game to watch. Anything else? We got to go NBA. Drew Holiday is a Boston Celtic.
Yeah, so 2 juggernauts in the East. I don't really know how this seeding is going to play out, to be honest with you. I could really see the Celtics or Bucks taking the 1 spot. But when you go past the 1 and 2, my question to you is, how do you see the rest of this Eastern Conference playing out? Because, the Sixers get worse. I want to say the Knicks get a little bit better. The Nets aren't going to be...
DiVincenzo.
Nets are the Nets. Yeah, Cavs, the Cavs get a little bit better. They add depth on the bench. I want to hear your 3 to 8. Those 5 teams and how they're going to slot.
Okay.
Just before, give me the 3 to 8. Give me number 3 to number 8. And go in that order.
Okay. 3 to 8. Jesus. All right. I'm going to go with... I'm going to try to base it off of... Let me pull up last because my short-term memory is going to be showing right now.
That's fair.
Okay. This is the thing though. Like the Heat, I don't know about the Heat because they lose Strus, they lose Gabe Vincent. Something tells me that the Sixers are going to stay at that 3 spot now that Harden's back. So no doubt, I think the number 1 is going to be. I think the Celtics go 1 and the Bucks go 2. Next, I have the Sixers. I'm going to swap. I'm going to swap the Knicks and the Cavs. So the Knicks are going to be 4. The Cavs are going to be 5.
Another playoff series.
Give me the Heat at 6. Then the Nets at 7. And now here's my sleeper for 8. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Well, I might as well go 9 and 10. I mean, I hate this is a 10-team playoff, but...
Okay. Yeah, then I'll go Toronto at 8. 9. 9, give me the Pacers, and at 10, I think the Bulls sneak in there by the skin of their teeth.
Okay, I like it. I mean, yeah, no, that all makes sense. I'm not knocking any of that. I got Celtics 1. I'm gonna go Bucks 2, Cavs 3. I'm gonna keep Knicks at 4. This is tough because it's like there's a lot of teams I could honestly see kind of jumping up in that spot. That
yeah
5. All right, I'm gonna go Celtics, Bucks, Cavs, Knicks. I'm gonna go Sixers after the Knicks. I think Sixers will take that 6th spot, or is that 5? No, Celtics, Bucks, Cavs, Knicks. Yeah, Sixers at 5?
Sixers at 5, yes.
Yeah, then I'll go at 6. I'm gonna say that at 6, Brooklyn. No, I'm gonna say Brooklyn drops. I'm gonna put Miami at 6. I think Miami is a better regular season. They were only out by a game last year. I think they take that 6th spot. 7. I'm gonna go Brooklyn. 8, Pacers. 9, Toronto, and 10. I'm actually gonna put the Detroit Pistons in. They get a healthy
Really?
they get a healthy Cade Cunningham back, so they're getting the guy that they, their guy back, and I think he's going to show out and have a big year. It's a young team. They're very exciting. I think that they have the potential to be a 10 seed. Do I see them doing a lot of damage? No. But I think Detroit
Okay.
basketball finally takes a step forward, and they get back on the right track led by Cade Cunningham. So that's my little sleeper there. I'm going to have them in a 10, and maybe winning a play-in game. Maybe winning a play-in series and moving on. Maybe moving to that, fight that,
Okay.
7-8 kind of battle there. So I'm gonna have Detroit at my 10 spot.
All right. Interesting. Jimmy Butler with
Emo hair.
with the emo hair. What do we think about that?
I think it's funny. I mean, last year he showed up in dreads. He does this.
Yeah.
Seems like a recurring thing. I think
The
it's
emo,
funny.
the emo thing definitely like throws me off. But
well, I think I like the emo thing. I think it's cool. Dame just gets traded to the Bucks. Obviously, everyone in the East is a little, well, what the
upset
hell?
about that.
But I like it. I think it's funny. So props to him.
I'll say it. Screw it. We're gonna have Jake and Matt on for Tuesday's episode for our hockey preview. So be on the lookout for that. Can't wait to talk some hockey. Can't wait to have Matt back on since he went Hollywood on us and went viral. But you know what? Nice to have a friend of always nice to have a friend of the program on. Yeah, that's all I got for hockey. Unless there was some preseason shit.
No, I mean NHL's coming in full swing. Bedard gets his first goal last night. It was an empty netter. I'm sure that's how everyone expected it to go in. Yeah, I'm excited for the year. I think Zegers just gets re-signed, 3 years, 5.75 AAV. So they hold that lockout. Finally comes to an end. Is a little more than I probably would have gave him. I don't think I would have went over 5.5. I mean, he's a 60-point guy. Definitely, right now, I get the 3-year bridge deal. I 100% understand that. He's got to prove more in a two-way game, so it makes more sense to give him a bridge contract. I don't think the Ducks are going to be good. I don't think the Hawks are going to be good. I really think right now Isles and Rangers are a 3-4 seed, potential flip. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Could be an interesting year, but we'll see how it plays out. I
already have my standings ready. I'm just ready to let it all out. We're recording it on Monday for a Tuesday upload, but I'm ready to let it all out. I'm very excited for hockey, especially for the latter too. So
much more interesting when there's hockey on.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. So now if my math is right,
should be at 40
minutes.
37
17 minutes
before
for the first
that,
half.
we kept recording.
Then we were at 15 when we crapped out the second go around. Now we're at 19. So let me see. 17 plus 15 plus 19. 37 minutes. Okay.
Tomorrow's going to be a big one. Big episode.
Big episode.
I'm about to have some nice picks for tomorrow.
I'm very excited for that, but we're trying our hardest out here, man.
You don't understand this. We got Ethernet cables in here. We're doing our best. It's just.
Do you know what you could get? But I don't know if it would work.
I mean, I get a router extender.
That or do you know those Wi-Fi packs?
That's what I'm saying. The router extender.
$50.
Yeah, I have one in my house. Well, I'm saying
it basically
it
puts
moves
your
into your
Wi-Fi on stereo. No, but there's a thing that you plug into your computer, but also plug into the wall, and it's it basically puts your Wi-Fi on steroids.
I have at my house. I'll bring it up when I come back home from break. It's a router extender, and you put it in your room, so it essentially moves the router to your room.
Okay.
So I'll probably just bring that up, and then it'll make it better. You could plug Ethernet cables into that, and probably work much better.
Because we tried. So the reason why we missed out, well, I think we already told that. The reason why we missed out a couple weeks ago is because of that. We tried uploading an episode, just couldn't work. Tim couldn't even get into the studio because of how bad the Wi-Fi was.
Right now, without the cameras on, it works fine. So we'll try and figure out a way to work this both ways. We'll figure it out.
Hopefully we have video recording. I mean, the green light is on my computer, so I'm assuming that our faces are being recorded. If not, I can just have Matt just put pictures of us on our screens, and then you can just hear the audio, which kind of sucks, but
we'll figure it out.
It is what it is. We're
gonna have to figure it out at some point, but we're working towards it. Yeah. I promise you.
There's a solution for everything, and it
We're
just
getting
makes us
there.
look-
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Just don't think that we've just given up. That's all we ask.
Yes.
Trust me, we're
We're
trying.
trying.
We're gonna have an episode tomorrow.
And we're going to
This
have great
isn't ve-
picks tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we need winners. That's all I'm gonna
I'm
say.
about to go
on
3-3.
that. Like,
I'm going to beat you because I'm up on you in the series right now. I mean, how does that make
by
you
one,
feel? I don't want
by one. It's by
Yeah, but
one
I'm
game.
by yeah. Hey, I mean, hey, this what happened last year, and then I ran away with it. So I'm just saying.
It's week 5. It's week 5.
All right,
It's
all
week
right.
5. There's 18 weeks in the football season.
Hey, I'm not eating those
Also,
wings. That's all I'm saying.
I'm instituting a rule. Whoever wins has to pay for it. To make it fair.
Yeah. Obviously, like
Okay.
if I win, I'll buy you the wings. Clearly, I'm not
Perfect.
going to just make you buy.
How many wings are we doing? Are we?
It's a challenge. You got to eat 10. It's 10. That's what the challenge is.
10?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus fuck.
You don't have to beat
Oh
the
my-
challenge. You just have to attempt it.
Okay, I don't have to beat
Hey,
it.
I'm
All
only
right.
up 1. I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah, it's a one score game here. I mean,
Yeah.
This
come on.
is-
And anyway, I went 0-3. What I go 1-3 week 1, 1-2, whatever. So
yeah. I mean, it's not how you start; it's how you finish. So,
and I'm about to have a 3-3 week. Hey, we both went 2-1. This is a build off moment. All right.
yeah,
It's a build
this
off
is
moment.
yeah, it's a build off moment. There's a reason why they call week 3 a trap week.
Yeah.
Because the teams that do good in week 1 and don't do well in week 2, you're very confused on who to bet on. Like Texans were 0-2. A lot of people had the Jags. They fucking
I
kicked the
know.
Jaguars' ass.
It's
and then the
hard. It's hard to
Texans-
bet on.
Dude, the Texans even. I mean, we could go back to football, I guess. Dude, the Texans actually have a shot at winning this division.
It's a week 1, so maybe.
It's a maybe. I mean, it happens every year where a team in the NFL, no matter the division, the year before they start last, and then a year later they win the division. Happened last year I believe it happened last year with the Jaguars when they had Urban Meyer, and then the next year, first year with Doug Peterson, they skyrocket to first place. So maybe we'll see what happens here.
So
Jaguars get a first place schedule. Texans have a pretty easy
Yeah.
schedule.
I do want to mention something. I don't think we touched base on the Ryder Cup at all, but if you're a golf
Oh
fan,
God,
embarrassing for the
you're
U.S.
disgusted.
Just
You're, like,
embarrassing. If you're a UK
actually
guy,
disgusting.
congrats to you, or you Europe guy
Fuck
rather.
Zach Johnson, because that was disgusting what he did. He literally picked his friends. It was literally like a Pearl River Little League All-Star game where he just picked his friends. It was a popularity contest.
It was not by any means good golf from the U.S. They got smoked through and through. Max Homa was the only one. I mean, he put his team on the back.
I was gonna say, shout out Max Homa because he fucking put the team on his back.
2 chip-ins, that one from the I mean, that was downhill. Was he even in
Yeah.
the bunker? I mean, he played great, but if you're a golf fan, that was very tough to watch if you're a U.S. guy because it's just that was because everyone had high expectations. I mean, we won last year.
I was riding.
You come
big
in,
on
you
it.
and it's whatever. It sucks. It
Dude,
sucks because
2025.
if you
know where they are in 2025, Tim?
where
They're in Long Island.
I would love to stop by. And
Not
maybe
at Shinnecock, but the other one.
Bethpage. They're
Yeah,
playing
they're
black.
Bethpage.
Oh, dude, it's down the road from my buddy's house. We might as well go.
Oh, we might as well go to that. Holy shit! And we'll be like graduated from college and everything too.
I mean, I'll ask my
Oof.
brother would definitely want to go to that. All right, well, that's
Oh,
two.
I
I mean,
would
that's
s-
2
I
years
would-
from now. We'll figure that out.
2 years from now. Anything else? I mean, like just general stuff, general sports stuff. We stick to sports here.
Is there any controversy? Yeah. Again, I'd like touch base on the Chandler Jones situation. If anyone's following that,
Oh, dude, this is
so he reportedly been released from the team. I can't imagine any other situation going. He's probably done.
he's in jail, right?
He's in like a mental institution right now.
Oh God.
Yeah, he's dealing. I mean, this is a thing you see constantly with football players, and it sucks. But mental health is a serious thing with CTE and stuff. I mean, it's really banging these guys up, and this is no different from an Antonio Brown type thing. I mean, he's really going off the rails here. And
Yeah.
it's scary to see some of these things he's
I
saying.
know.
Like I don't know. I don't even want to
It's
get
like
into
what
the,
happened.
Yeah,
But,
you don't want to get
now
into the
that-
nitty gritty of it, but
Now that you mention that, though, like I saw a tweet today. It just shows how like lucky the Chiefs are. So I can't talk. So last offseason, Raiders add Chandler Jones, Chargers added J.C. Jackson, Broncos added Randy Gregory.
They're all
three
gone.
players were either cut
Oh.
or traded this week.
oh my gosh, yeah, J.C. Jackson just got 2 huge things
back to
actually.
New England. Back
Chris-
to
and
New
Chris-
England.
Christian Gonzalez reportedly done for the year. That
Oh,
sucks.
yeah.
Oregon
That's
product.
bad.
The guy's a stud. But that sucks. But J.C. Jackson going back,
That's big.
This is
'Cause he
big.
he really shined under that New England defense, and to get him back, and then he's still he's got 3 years left in his contract.
Yeah,
if I'm
no,
not
it's a good
mistaken,
pickup.
yes, he
That's a
would
good
have
pickup.
3 years left in his contract, and soon you're gonna have Christian Gonzalez and J.C. Jackson. That's huge. That's big.
And I think I really think in 2 or 3 years we're going to be talking about Christian Gonzalez as the top 5 corner in the league. What he's shown through
I
the
agree.
first 4 weeks of him
Absolutely.
playing, this guy is shut down. He's a stud. And if he didn't get hurt, I mean, potential if he played at this continued to play at this pace, I mean, he'd be in conversation for defensive rookie of the year. So
Oh yeah,
it's a tough beat for them. Helps the Jets out a little bit, especially they can't beat New England. So it's nice to get a guy who shut down Garrett Wilson off the field. But yeah,
it's
it
a
sucks.
tough scene.
It's a tough scene for a guy that honestly he's an Oregon product. So of course I'm going to be rooting for him. I mean, even when they lost, the Jets lose to New England, I was like, damn, Christian Gonzalez played a hell of a game.
Yeah. Oh, I'll mention my TikTok. Be sure to follow Dan Layton CBB on TikTok, where you will get all of my predictions for the top 25. I already revealed my first two, number 25 and number 24, St. John's in Florida. And then
Yeah.
I have to make my number 23, which I think is USC. So that
Seriously,
would
though,
definitely...
check out these
definitely
videos. They're
be
hella
interesting.
informational. Stan's going deep in depth on these teams. He's giving you a whole rundown on what the lineup's going to look like. So if you're really into college
Yes.
basketball, these are videos you should watch.
Yes, and be sure on the lookout during the season. A lot of gambling stuff. Definitely be giving out plays of the day, probably every day, and probably every day because I bet on college basketball whenever I can. So be on the lookout for those. Hopefully, I could win you guys some money. Hopefully, I mean, I'm trying to get shit done for this upcoming season, because this upcoming season is big. Not only for Duke, it's a big college basketball season. It's the same thing with college football. It's the last year of normal college athletics, even conferences, all this. So last go around for not necessarily normal, but the stuff that we're
The norm.
used to for college athletics. All right, moving on. What I saw. Tim, you go first.
Again, it wouldn't be me if I wasn't doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I played
Can
played a-
I guess what you shot?
it was 18.
Okay, it was all 18 holes.
Yep.
Par what?
The par was 72.
You shot an 84.
You are damn close. I shot an 86.
Oh,
Hell of a guess,
damn.
though. Yeah, I should have shot an 84. I shot an 86.
This is gonna be the game now. This is gonna be the game.
Take a guess at what I shot.
I'm gonna guess what you shot.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
gonna be a game now.
I'm holding the scorecard right here. It all comes back to hole 3. All right, I had a tough drive. It put me in the woods. I had a tough layout shot. I had to take a drop. I was already down. Then I smoked. I stick the green 2-putt. I get a 7. Yeah, that sucks. That
One of
sucks.
these
really put me
days,
in a
I'm gonna
bind.
flip the script, and then what I saw is gonna be I played a round of golf.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, just great. I mean, I can go hole for hole if you want, but I started off par
No,
par
no,
and then I went
no,
trip.
no.
So that's all I'm gonna say. I started par and then tripled. So if that triple isn't there, we're looking at a really, really good round.
What I saw is Cooper Flagg. Big news for Cooper Flagg. He was down to 3 schools: Kansas, Duke, and UConn. Visited Duke over the summer. Cooper Flagg visited UConn the other couple weeks ago. Cooper Flagg's visit to Kansas was supposed to be this weekend, and he canceled the visit, which leads me to believe that he is down to 2 schools, Duke and UConn. Cooper Flagg is actually going for a second visit for Countdown to Craziness, which is their Midnight Madness type thing, hype before the season. So hopefully that sways him over, that wins him over, goes to Duke. God, it would be so big if we get Cooper Flagg, man. I'm hoping and praying. I know a lot of crystal balls have him going to Duke.
I mean, I hope he
So-
even goes the college route. I mean, it's still in the back of your mind that he could flip a switch and be in the G League. So
I think he said he's going to college. I
Well,
don't
there
think
you
yeah. So I'm hoping and praying.
yeah, he would look nice
That-
with Blue Devils jersey, especially the white
I
one.
know. Well, you know what? Listen to this. So the UConn part scared me because Donovan Clingan, the big tall kid on
Yeah.
on UConn, he so his mom Cooper Flagg's mom and Donovan Clingan's mom were college teammates, I believe, at University of Maine, and so hopefully that doesn't. Hopefully history doesn't repeat itself. Where I think Clingan's going into the draft at the end of this year, but hopefully that just go to Duke, Cooper, please. God.
Make my life easier.
Make my life easier. Don't make me hate you. Although I don't hate UConn. I might be going to UConn in a couple of months. We'll see what happens there, but I'm hoping and praying Cooper Flagg is in a Duke uniform, because if not, then I don't know what I'll do. Big year for Duke coming up, though. Jared McCain's going to be the best shooter in the country. You heard it
100%. 100%.
Oh, God.
Like I can lace the ball.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This team's deep, man. I could sit here. You know how Tim, you can just sit there and talk hockey? I could sit here and just talk college basketball for 2 hours.
I could sit here and talk, and you're going to laugh. This is what I was doing 2 days ago. Me and my roommate, he's a huge LeBron guy too. Love LeBron, but I'm a huge Cavs guy. Everyone knows that. We sat in my room and we watched 2016, 2015, 2017 playoff highlights for like an hour and a half. So I could talk. I mean, I could just sit and talk sports till my mouth falls off. But that was really funny. I was watching. I mean, I could pull back the games we were watching. The moments. Ugh. I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh my God.
It was the best basketball team I've ever seen.
Yeah. Let's see. Chase Claypool, Eddie Jackson, Jalen Johnson out for Thursday night for the Thursday night game. That game's gonna suck.
I have a top 5 list for us today.
Here we go. What do we got?
Top 5 through week 4. Your most disappointing fantasy performers, 5-1. Not just on your team, but in general.
Yeah. I think I know the clear cut number. Ooh, it's hard to debate who. Okay, number 5. I know it's not really his fault, but I'm gonna say Joe Mixon for this one. Okay. I know it's not really his. And I have Joe Mixon on 2 of my teams, and I know it's not really his fault, and I know the offensive line's not good, but I just feel like his production just isn't there. And I know that Joe Mixon got a lot of his production from when the pocket would collapse on Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow would just check it down to Mixon. Outstanding for PPR, but just this year I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen it with Joe Mixon this year. I know he had a big touchdown a couple weeks ago against LA, but other than that, I haven't really been moved by Joe Mixon.
Yeah, no, that's fair. At 5, it's tough because there's a lot of guys I could just start, lack of production, they're not getting the ball enough. The guy for me that's really one of them is Dalvin Cook. I'm gonna have him at 5. No fault to him really, just not getting the ball as much as we expected him to. It's a lot less, of a split backfield than we thought it was going to. So I'm just going to put Dalvin Cook at 5. Not his fault, but he's just not getting the ball enough.
All right. My number 4. We are going to go with... God, I'm trying to find... people that have just been not good. Oh, Jahmyr Gibbs.
He's on my list too.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Again, not his fault. Not his fault at all. It's just that Dan Campbell refuses to put him on the field. I think that they're treating Jahmyr Gibbs as how they treated DeAndre Swift last year, where he would get the majority of the load, but once they sit in the red zone, it's going right to David Montgomery. And that's exactly what they did. But the thing that I don't understand is, why would you trade up to get a guy like that when you could easily get someone like that in the free agent market with how the running back market has been? So I don't know. It seems to be working for them because they've been winning a lot of games. So who am I to judge?
You can't judge. I'm not. It's just fantasy. I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna say T. Higgins. I know he's hurt, and I know he's questionable, missed some time. But if you just look down, other than his week 2 performance, which was great, he's been limited, very, very limited. Week 1, 8 targets, 0 receptions. Week 2, 8 targets, 2 receptions, 21 yards, and week 3, 4 targets, 2 receptions, 19 yards. He's got 4.1 and 3.9 the last 2 weeks, and he had a 0 spot week 1. People going into this year really thought he could be like a valuable wide receiver number 2 on any fantasy team just because his red zone targets are really high. We're not seeing enough of that, and again, it's not his fault. It's just this offense isn't working like we thought it was going to, and he's just a byproduct of that. So I'm just gonna have him at 4.
My number 3. This is actually a shocker. My number 3 is going to be Rashad Penny.
That's a really good one.
Thank you. I noticed it, just from doing drafts and mock drafts all summer, he was in the 60s, 70s range. He had a pretty good year until he got hurt last year. Goes to the Eagles, you think he's going to shine, but then they have all these running backs of Kenneth Gainwell and DeAndre Swift. And then I feel like once DeAndre Swift had that game against Minnesota back in week 2, I feel like they haven't looked back since. So I know a lot of people drafted Rashad Penny pretty high, 6th, 7th round maybe. And he just, I don't think he's even touched the field. That's, ugh.
I
was disappointed with Rashad Penny. I don't have him, but he's definitely up there for big bust this year.
No, that's fair. I'm gonna have at number 3. I'm gonna take actually what you said. I'm gonna run with Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's definitely on my list. It's tough, especially going in this year. People had him really high ranked. An explosive rookie, and when on the field he makes a lot of plays, but he's not getting the ball enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna swap. Jahmyr Gibbs is at 3, and then give me Rashad Penny at 4.
All right, so then what are we looking at 1 and 2? I think 1 and 2 for me is. I have my 2 if you want my 2.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now I'm only saying he's at 2 just because he's dealing with some lingering injuries and the team hasn't been as great production. But I'm gonna actually have Joe Burrow at 2.
Wow.
The 31 ranked quarterback. This is a guy people drafted high in their leagues, expected huge things from him. So I know some people had him as an MVP candidate, but from what he showed out so far, it's almost averaging 7 points a week. I mean, you almost want to bench him. So I'm gonna have him at number 2, and on my list.
Yeah. My number 2 is gonna be. It's hard to debate which one because. My number 2 is going to be Kyle Pitts. My number 2 is Najee Harris.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, because it's just watching this guy run, and now it's clear my number 1 is going to be Kyle Pitts.
That's my number 1 too. So if we just might as well get that out of the way.
Yeah, with Najee Harris, I feel I'm not putting Najee Harris at 1 because we saw the same thing last year with Najee Harris. I think it's come down. I think the overall consensus on Najee Harris is he's not good.
No, he runs like a tight end.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts is so damn talented, and he's ranked so high amongst all the tight ends every year because of what he can do. It's just that the quarterbacks that he is around are so terrible. Desmond Ridder looked like shit in that London game. Marcus Mariota did not look good at all last year. Dude, I think if they bring in Heineke, Kyle Pitts shines. Because for whatever reason, Taylor Heineke just seems like the guy. We saw it in Washington, for, 2-3 years, where, he led the team to these, come-from-behind victories. He always had them in games, and he utilizes the targets so well. I think Heineke shot. I think Heineke makes Pitts.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I think he, again, byproduct of bad quarterback play and bad play calling for him, realistically. I mean, he's not getting the ball as much as he should be. I understand you like to run 2 tight ends. I get it. It's not a fantasy game. It's a real football game. But Geno Smith and Kyle Pitts should not be 1 reception different than each other. I mean, it shouldn't be 20 to 21. It should be a lot different. The ball should be getting to Pitts a lot more. He's dynamic. He can make plays. And this is, again, this is the third year we've been saying this?
Yes.
Third year we've been saying this is his breakout year fantasy-wise, and it hasn't happened. I don't know if it ever will with this quarterback room with Desmond Ridder. Hopefully Heineke, if he does come in, can turn it around. But yeah, this is someone all the talent in the world, and you just want to stay away from.
Yeah. Honorable mention. Like I can't even like think of one right now. Like,
Rashad Penny would be my honorable mention, but also Cam Akers. Anyone who drafted him, I mean, it was just never going to work
Yeah,
out. It was never going to work out.
Yeah,
We've seen it year and year and every year again. It's just he gets less and less and less, and it's got to be something within the locker room. They don't like him as a scheme. He's got all the talent in the world. He'd be a great running back. It's just Kyron Williams has taken over that role, and it's not going to be him. So Cam Akers is that's an honorable mention for me.
do I include Austin Eckler?
I would. I was going to put him on my list too, and not for performance-wise. The fact that he just never wants to stay in the field.
Yeah.
When he's on the field, he's a 30. He can get you 30 fantasy points, but he just never wants to play. It's tough. It's tough when your number one option in fantasy that I do have is made of glass, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. Shit happens. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went on for a while. This is going to be a long one. From dating back to fucking yesterday. So this seems like this one's like the way to go. I think both of us with our cameras off. Hopefully our faces are being recorded.
Yeah, I mean we'll eventually figure it out, but right now with the cameras off is probably our best bet.
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't fuck over our YouTube, but whatever. Nonetheless, also if we never got to that recording, ladder challenge is going to be Brewers Diamondbacks, no runs in the first inning. So we're on day 3. Hopefully a simple 6 outs gets us to day 4. Because I think once day 4 starts rolling around. Oh shit! I just realized.
What?
Is there like big? If we get to Friday.
Oh, when we get to Friday, we'll deal with it Friday.
Yeah, I know I'm thinking ahead, but
this is the first time we've gotten 2 in a row. Let's work to week. Let's work to
second
day 3
time. Second time. Actually, wait.
Let's work to
no. Yeah, no. This isn't or no. Did we win the first 2?
No, we won the first one.
No,
it doesn't matter. We're here now, and we're gonna win today.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, X, and TikTok. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube, like this video on YouTube. Be sure to follow us and rate us on Spotify.
5 stars.
5 stars only, and we will see you guys tomorrow for our picks and predictions for week 5 and college football as well. All right. Peace out, guys.